Hello and welcome back to another episode of World of Warcraft Hardcore. My name is Syken and today we're continuing the World of Warcraft Hardcore Stitches run on the official servers with our Rogue, Syken Heights. I made it to Desolace, we made it to level 37.5. I was a bad boy and didn't follow the guide. I went through Duskwallow Marsh first. Just did all of the quests there, like an untrained puppy. And the reason why I did that is I wanted to make sure that we hit 38 here whilst we are grinding, because that will allow us to do down in the Scarlet Path, get all of that stuff done, and go and do Scarlet Monastery after we're done here. And believe me, we're going to very much go to Scarlet Monastery next, because I want my weapons. So we got better contact poison rank 2 to be precise. We're still using crippling. Like I said, I like myself a bit of utility. We still got plenty of healing supplies, and we're starting, according to the guide, with the reagent run. I personally don't like that quest too much because it requires you to kill really a lot of enemies to get 10 claws and 10 horns, but apparently the guide likes it because there are quite a few follow-up quests, and I can understand that piece. It makes for, I think, overall 5 or 6 quests, so that's not too bad. Guide wants us to start over here, then relatively quickly move to the water line, which is definitely a smart idea because we can get the scepter quest. Scepter quest will then get us into the Orc Fortress, and we can double dip on that. There are 2 quests that we can do in the Orc Fortress, so that makes sense. And the guide also wants us to do a few underwater quests. Told us to bring water breathing potions with us, potentially want us to go into the Nagas as well, because the book of Aru or whatever it's called, that is requiring us to swim to that island, and prior to that I think there is either Naga killing, a little bit of Naga killing, or some underwater finding of keys. So there is definitely a good reason for having underwater breathing potions. As you can see, we're starting off with lower level mobs. Those are green for us, and that's really what the guide always emphasizes. Don't waste yours as a melee, don't go to higher level quests. Instead, go to slightly lower level quests and just kill them fast. So that's what we're going to do, and it's going to be a bloodbath. None of these satyrs will live. We're going to get every single one. And frankly, we need to, because these guys are dropping the claws and the horns that we need for the resource quest. Shortly after we're done here, we trade it in and get the follow-up. I think the follow-up is scorpions and a couple of other just random creatures that are standing around. So I suppose what the guide wants us to do is get them all over the place. There's also speciality in Desolace that I personally like, which is this caravan route. Basically, a goblin caravan moves from here to here, and from down here back to here. And there are 2 positions, and if the caravan is at that exact position only, then a bodyguard quest, so a small escort quest, opens up. Very lucrative if you can be at the right time at the right place, but it's hard to do that. Anyways, we're going to do as much as we can here in Desolace. The idea is to definitely hit 38, because that will qualify us for both of the dungeons. And then tomorrow I will put my nicest foot forward and will ask all of the people to join a double run. First Scarlet Monastery, Triple Wings, Library, Arms and Cathedral, and then a full RFD run. And once both is done, we should be in the proud possession of 2 really good swords. Then the only thing that is needed is enchanting them, maybe getting a horse on top of it, so there's a bit of logistics that need to happen. But yeah, once that is done, we should see a monster increase in DPS. Enchanted weapons, blue enchanted weapons versus what we're currently having. Oh my god, that will be night and day. And we're not slow in killing at the moment, mind you. Alright, we are going to fast forward. I'll just kill the rest here, and let's see what the next step is. Alright, we finished the trade-in, and as mentioned, scorpions are the next big thing. If I recall correctly, scorpions are relatively speaking rare. They share spawns with a lot of other enemies, and they are wandering around. There is no real good spot where you can only find scorpions, but there are many spots where you can theoretically find them. So what we're going to do is, whenever we're seeing some of them, we're just going to eliminate all of them. A lot of them are here-ish, so we'll need to take a bit of a detour. Guy tells us kill scorpions, kill aged kodos for kodo hides. Okay, well, luckily for us, we got a couple of kodos right here. Let's see, is that triggering all of them? The answer is no. And there are a couple of scorpions as well. Okay, well, not too bad. Decent start. I did not remember the age kodos. Okay, they do have they are social when they are really close. Good, let's get that last kodo and we should be good to go. Careful of the hyenas. Unfortunately, we don't need hyenas because those 5-6 packs would be juicy. Good. 3 out of 3. H Kodo hides. That's perfect. That just leaves us with 7 of the venoms, and therein lies the problem. These guys do not always drop that venom as well. That's why I typically abandon the quest, but for whatever reason the guy really loves the quest, so might as well do it. You can see all of these guys are sharing spawns. I could theoretically be thorough and just kill everything. But that wouldn't really speed up the process. We would take forever to do that. Alright, next step for us. Get the Scepter of Light. And before we do that, I'll just move once around here and then back. Alright, we did our little angle, and I now remember why this quest is absolutely horrible. It's such a bad quest. So we started with 2 poison out of 2 scorpions. I was like, maybe I misremembered, and actually the drop rate wasn't that bad. But I then killed 10 further scorpions for 1. So we actually found quite a few. I eliminated all of them, and we got 1 further venom. But scorpions are everywhere, so we're just going to continue with that quest. For now, we're moving to Azure Aldamort, high-level wizard that needs our help with the Scepter of Light. And then we're also trading in the reclaimed treasure. The game then wants us to do Kodo Roundup and do the Kodo Graveyard. Not 100% sure why the game wants to do that, but okay. Or why the guide wants to do that. The game doesn't influence our decision making at all. So that's a bit strange. I would have guessed we're first going to go into the Thunder Axe Fortress. But apparently it wants to badly do that Kodo Roundup. If I recall correctly, there was no follow-up quest there, but maybe the guide suggested we're going to get our first. The Kodo necklace was not from the roundup; it was from collecting bones. So that's the bone collector. Strange. To be honest, I don't know. I will say we're going to do bone collection when we're doing the other quest. Everything else wouldn't make sense because this year is just you can do it in one swoop. Very strange. Okay, well. Guide kind of explains what you should be doing with the Kodo combobulator, but I have a completely different technique. We just need to have one of these herds moving nearby, and then you get 4 or 5 Kodos right off the bat. You don't even need to go to the graveyard, but the graveyard itself is fine for skulls, and we're going to get our first necklace. Stamina necklace as well, the bone collector. That is really good quest. So we're going to do that. I'm fine with doing that. I just find it a bit odd. Okay, we gotta be careful with Sea Giant. Okay, now golden key and silver key, which is I think the point where we're drinking the water elixir. Fair enough. Guide wants us to start with that. Zero problem. Let's go. For Horde, there's also one quest where you need to pick up those clams. But I think we don't have that quest. I'm pretty sure we don't have that quest. We just need the silver key, which these dry snappers do have. Gotta be careful underwater, the giants are fast. We don't have a swim speed potion. And target dummies do not work down here.
I'm out of range. I need to get closer. I can't do that. I don't.
Good. We need to kill quite a few of these dry snap pincers slash crawlers, and one of them eventually will drop the key. Oh, this one already dropped it. Fantastic. Now next step is we need to get the golden key. I think that one was with the caster nagas. No, it's actually with any naga whatsoever, so easy peasy. Easy peasy. Still dangerous here. Nagas are not to be trifled with. We're just going out of the water whenever possible. I'm not even sure if I would have needed water breathing. Certainly made it more convenient, but I think I wouldn't have needed it.
It's too far away. Not enough. Not ready yet. That ability.
Alright, as you can see, I'm trying to focus on the ones on the land, just so that movement is not such a pain in the rear. Any of the nagas actually can drop that golden key, and we need both parts of the key for the final island, but we're not going there yet, because the follow-up quest of this here, Scepter of Light, also gets us to the island. So we're essentially trying to do a 2-for-1 as we're going to the island. For the ones in the water, I mean, I can fight underwater. It's not a problem, it just takes a while to swim. I prefer melees because I don't need to swim there. Man, and the nagas are taking their sweet little time to drop that golden key.
I need to get closer.
Seldomly had more than 5 kills than I needed for the key. But maybe I've just always been very, very lucky. Equally, maybe I've always been unlucky with the scorpions, who knows. Alright, fast forward until I get the key. Alright, so we're done with the naga drop off the golden key. And I will tell you something. I'll once again deviate from the guide, because I think that the guide is a bit foolish in the way that it does things, and it's not efficient. Well, it is efficient if you're having the limitation that you can't have any higher level quests than your current level. Okay, but I don't subscribe to that limitation, so therefore I'm trying to optimize the ways a little bit further. We're coming from here, so for me it is not natural to kind of move halfway across the map just to do a quest here and then move halfway across to do a quest there. That's just bullshit, sorry to say, but that is not efficient. Instead, we're moving to here, going to get the Scepter of Light. We're picking up the Bone Collector, do one quest, do the Bone Collector on top of it, then we go down and then we can teleport back. I mean, it's obvious, obviously a quicker route, even if I need to go back into that fortress. Just going here for literally 2 minutes and also getting a bit of experience whilst killing and being able to check it in with the scorpions isn't a bad thing, because the guide conveniently ignores that you still need to do that scorpion thing. So just check for how long I am here for that quest, and it is, mind you, on the way, instead of just running after the arrow. And that's why I mean that the guide is fast, but so many people are praising it as the fastest way of leveling, that you're like following it to the T, and I disagree with that. After using it for almost 40 levels now, I can with confidence say that oftentimes situational effects are almost not included in the guide. It has a pretty decent and robust structure of when to do what, and always be fine with quests. And I don't want to smack talk too much about it. It's actually not a bad guide for beginners, but it includes a lot of traveling, way too much in my perspective, and all of that to prevent doing a couple of harder quests. And whilst I can understand where that is coming from, you just want speed and efficiency by fighting against green mobs as much as possible. The traveling time also adds up, and I cannot believe that that is the fastest way of doing things. From going from here all the way to here just to do essentially 2 quests, versus my suggestion of doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's quite clear to me that that my way is more efficient. Good. Scepter of Augur done. We can jump right out of the thing, and that took maybe 2 minutes if we're being generous. I'll do another round for the scorpions, because this is, believe it or not, still the best place to find them. Then we're picking up the Bone Collector, and then we're moving to the south. Alright, number of scorpions, expectingly not as high as it was before. So we just upgraded it from 3 to 4. Still, oh no, 5, sorry, I looted 1 more. So 2 more venom, and we're finally done with that part and can trade it in. So now we're on our way to the south, and I want to do 2 quests at the same time. Basically the Kodo Roundup, which is us finding a Kodo Recombobulator, or using the Kodo Recombobulator to bring Kodos to the little Nomi, and then finding skulls, I think 8 or 12, Maybe the higher level scorpions actually have a better chance of dropping stuff. This here is, by the way, relatively speaking, a dangerous area because lots of completely random patrolling mobs, and of course they don't. This field here was always like filled with many enemies. Already hated riding through it, let alone run through it. Okay, one more.
That ability isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet.
Luckily we do have a built-in feature to not get in trouble. Alright, and we're almost there. I wish we had more scorpions, but we do have H quotas, which is good, and we do have them near this camp. So that's at least one. If we had an entire march, like 4 of them, this quest, oh, we're having that. Fantastic. Okay,
Yo,
so
what's up? Time is money, friend.
let's get rid of that. Let's do that. And that, and you guys are staying here. Thank you. And we're doing that. Good. Normally this is like a super long back and forth.
I'm out of range. It's not ready yet.
But we already got a nice little head start. 3 out of 5. Are you kidding me? Three out of 5. Really quickly turned in. So that was almost the perfect start. Good. Now, I didn't only want to do that quest, which in itself is easy and quick to do, but I also wanted to do the Kodo skulls. 10 Kodo bones is what we need to find. And that will take a little bit because each of them has kind of a 60-ish% chance of spawning an aggressive Kodo ghost, and then you're forced to fight that kind of level 37 to 38, so we're going to be okay, but it still is annoying. Good. Let me get the last Kodos through, and then we're going to push to the next quest. Alright, last Kodo to trade in, and there we go.
Yo. Glad I could help.
Done deal. Now off to the next quest, which is Kodo Bone Collector, and we're going to also pick up Ghost Plasm Roundup because I want to do that together with the Down to the Scarlet Path quest. Good. Now, this is the not so fun part. I could use a lot of vanish. Sorry for the coughing. Could use a lot of vanish powder and just basically ignore those Kodo ghosts, or we're standing our ground and are killing them, and that's the annoying part. The spawn rate of these is a little bit too much for my personal liking. We need 10 of these skulls. Not a big problem generally, but it's just tedious because our good friends, the Kodos, are appearing out of nowhere, and you need to kill, rinse and repeat. And the problem is that some of the skulls are also protected by these vultures, so you end up getting attacked twice from time to time. Gotta be careful, there is a horde settlement here. We don't want to get any of the guards as an attention. Also, don't want the ancient Kodos to chime in with those Kodo operations. So, yeah, that's really it. Straightforward quest. We need 10 of these things. The reason why I'm doing it is because I want the necklace. It's a slot that we haven't filled yet, and we're in desperate need of a necklace. So, I think fast forward for you guys whilst I'm collecting the last 7. Alright, so we're done with picking everything up. Bone Collector quest can start, and now we're starting a bit with the grind, because we need centaur ears and we need to become friendly with the Gelkas. Essentially, the guide wants us to kill lots and lots and lots of centaurs, then move over here, talk and trade in strange alliance. That's okay, I don't mind, either way is fine. Can kill either of the two. What is not fine is that we still need 1 venom, so if we can find a scorpion somewhere, that would be fantastic. There are a couple down here, so maybe that's a good angle, because then we could finally close that quest. And yeah, then I think the guide, after being done with that, doesn't really have another idea of how to deal with the rest of the quests, which I think it pushes all of the level 38, 39 quests a little bit forward for a later day. But that's not going to happen on my watch. We are going to do the entirety of Desolace, not the full entirety, because there are a couple of like high level areas, but most of it. Found us a scorpion as well.
It's too far away.
Matter of fact, found us a second scorpion. And even a third one. Okay, cool. So that should work out well. These are the higher level scorpions. And here, this is where our Scarlet Monastery quest line is located. I would like to be level 38 before entering there. It's dangerous, quite dangerous actually. Come on, scorpions, one of you will have the venom. Right? Right? The pure XP grinding already got us to almost 80% in this level, which is crazy. because we have so many more quests to trade in. So I'm looking forward for that. I think once we do quest trade in, we should be leveling. The poison of these guys is nasty. Come on, we just need one more drop.
It's too far away. Not ready. That ability isn't ready yet. I don't have enough energy.
Once we got that, I promise I'll leave the scorpions alone.
Not enough energy. I don't have enough.
But until then, I'm sorry, you guys. I need one more venom, and this is really what I meant at the beginning. The drop rate is horrible. Like, these are already the high level versions, which in the logic of World of Warcraft
I need to get closer.
would generally have a higher drop rate than the lower enemies.
Not enough energy.
That's
Too far away.
generally across all of the mobs that are dropping. Typically the higher ones have a slightly higher drop rate. But I killed like what, 5 of these guys and we're still not done. Alright, the 5th one of course drops it. That's another method in World of Warcraft. Complain and receive. I don't know how they did it, but they are reading off your microphone. And in the early 2000s they already developed a very sophisticated language, natural language processing tool. The moment that they hear any complaints, they immediately will get you a drop. Good. So this here will be pretty straightforward. Essentially all it is going to contain is I will kill as many of those Magrum guys as I have to. We're going to get a couple of ears on top, and everything should be fine. So this is the purest form of grinding, which means I'm going to fast forward it. But before I do it, let's take a look at what we're going to do next. So we're moving over here, trade in the quest. Not even sure if we're going to do the follow-up, because typically that's not really required. We're going to Hearthstone back, trade in, trade in, trade in, trade that in, trade that in, and then we're definitely going to do the island, both of the quests up there. And I think we're pretty much okay afterwards. As in, the only thing that's left over would be goes to Plasmic Roundup and down the Scarlet Path. And these are level 39 quests, which is exactly why I wanted to be level 38. Good. Fast forward for you guys. Alright, done. We grinded them down. We got 15 ears on top of that, which is great because that's another side quest. And now it's time to hand in strange alliances. And once we're done with that, I think I'll just recall back for triple, quadruple, turn in, quintuple. And then we're going to do the quests on the island. Seems like a very legit plan. The whole grinding also got us to almost 90%, so I am sure that we're going to level to level 38. Not only that, we are going to be quite a bit in, actually. And when we're doing down the Scarlet Path and the Ghostoplasm Roundup, that might even get us to, say, 30-ish% in the level. So yeah, maybe the 2 dungeons, RFD and Scarlet Monastery, even get me to 39 and a bit, almost 40, which would be fun. One thing that we still need is more resources, enchanting mats. So that hasn't worked out so well yet. The disenchanting, specifically small radiant shards, weapon disenchanting, hasn't worked out so well. Well,
Can't do that yet.
we're going to maybe need to buy it via the auction house. Alright, fast forward until the trade-in. Trade-in number 1, Strange Alliances. So let's get this one going. Now the guide wants us to turn stuff in and also turn in the bone collector. Oh, accept the bone collector. It wants us now to accept the bone collector. See, the guide is all over the place. I have no idea why you would postpone accepting the bone collector. That just doesn't make any sense. Alright, let's do the other trade-ins.
You got my attention.
We got the reagents run and some other quest. Oh yeah, the shipwreck.
Can I help you?
There is the level up. Continuing with sword procs.
How may I help?
And interestingly enough, the game doesn't want us to do
Talk to me. Be good.
the level 40 version. Nether wings and
Not ready yet.
the brains of fellhounds. I think that's correct. We don't
I can't
necessarily
do that
need
yet.
to do that now. But we could always come back at a later stage. The reason why I'm a bit hesitant is this area in particular is quite dangerous, and there are a couple of higher level mobs and elite mobs also running around, so it's not the most fun place to
That ability
just do a
is
quest and
ready.
fight. And level 40 for level 38 is also quite a bit of an uphill battle, unnecessarily so. So maybe we do that a little bit later. So Bone Collector will be next straight in, and then now the guide sends us to the fortress there. But like I said, the minute that we put in order to get the Scepter of Light
Not ready.
is really nothing. Easy peasy.
I can't do
Good.
that yet.
So let's trade that in. According to the guide, we would now get the Bone Collector and then sort of do that and go to the graveyard a little bit later. That's a weird way of doing it. Like I said, the guide is a bit all over the place here. I found my pathing much more efficient. And we're now getting a necklace. Once we're done with that, we're going to do one more quest in the fortress. That should be an easy one. When does it want us to go to the call course, by the way? Oh, it wants us to do the call course now and then pick up and go over. Okay. Well, this here was on the way
Hey, how you
anyways.
doing?
And I tell you what, 7 stamina for free. It's nothing to sneeze at, so I'll take the 70 extra hit points any time of the week. Okay, well, we're now going to harvest 10 crude charms on the raid of the call card. That's easy enough, can do that. And afterwards we're going to go into the castle. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, this is another grind quest, so we're just going to fast forward. I will kill these guys so fast. Let's just put new crippling on and we're good to go. Like, look at that. 7 level difference.
Can't do that yet. Not ready yet. That ability.
Some of them are even gray. That's not good.
Not enough.
I'll just take the higher level ones. That's okay. Good. Like I said, complete grind quest. We just need to
That ability.
get 10 of these colors together. Fast forward for you. Alrighty. So, we finally got the charms. That'll help us. Need to trade it in down here, right on the Kolkar. That was the follow-up quest. The guide still wants us to do that. Onigeku is, I think, in Swamp of Sorrows. And the conquests are high level, so yeah. I think the guide just wants us to get to Onigeku and then at some point do that in Swamp of Sorrows. Not the biggest fan of that quest line. I typically end it after the first one. But we wanted to play what the guide wants to do, and I feel I'm already deviating enough from it. So let it have its moments as well. We are about a level and a bit higher than what the guide would assume, so that's totally fine still. Matter of fact, actually very much how I would want it to be. I'd rather be ahead of the curve than behind. The guide at some point has XP markers where it basically tells you, okay, now you need to grind until you have reached that and that amount of XP so that you don't fall behind, which I think is a neat little thing to do. But yeah, we're not behind, we're ahead of the curve. We're going to do the Herald Search, which leads to a escort quest. And again, I haven't really wasted a lot of time. Those 2 or 3 guards here is the only thing that I double killed. Came here and moved to the tower. And none of that we will need to repeat. We're going right into the fortress and are going to do that. Lots of casters in there, but as a rogue, and specifically as one with Blade Fury, we can even handle multiples. No problemo. These guys hit fast, but not very hard. Any form of damage shield is fantastic against them. We don't have that, of course, but still mentioning it. Good. That looks like a neat little triple kill to me. Evasion was Blade Fury, and we're talking. Got the patrol out of the way. Perfect. There's still a couple of double pulls. Most of them are casters, and if we position ourselves well enough, let's eat up first. This could add. If we're positioning ourselves well enough, we should be absolutely fine. Just line of sighting. Not a single spell came through so far. Okay, whatever. One came through, could have interrupted that one. And that's how you can kite the casters without them being able to do a lot. Really fast kills here. Efficiently going through all of it. Good. And since we've now cleared the way, the rest should be really easy.
Hello.
Oh no, she wants the pendant first. Alright, never mind. Well, we can do that fast. Not sure if we're going to be that fast. As in preventing respawn, but we're going to try. Another nice double kill. There's our target, by the way. There's the pendant. And we're good to go. I think no respawn yet. Just this lonely little wanderer here. And if he just wanders around the camp, I don't mind it. We're going to get some respawn on our way out, but that's fine. It's still faster than me killing everything again.
How may I help?
Okay, let's go. Main hand gets some new crippling. Often some insta poison. And we're good to go. The gate starts to respawn, so these will respawn soon, then these. There we go, the individual guards here are respawning, so we got all the way out of the fortress, basically without major respawns.
It's too far away. I can't do that. That ability isn't.
Okay. Easy escort. We got all of them out of the way. I don't know if there is a final battle, so better drink up. But I don't think so. Next up, we would... Yep, no final battle. Fantastic. Next up, we're putting the Scepter of Light in. And then we're going to do the whole quest on the island. And once that is done, I think it's just down the Scarlet Path, really. Oh yeah, and trade in the raid on the Qualcars, because that's another 2000 experience. Yeah. Sounds legit. We're going here, then raid on the Qualcar. Down here, trade in, teleport back, and are done. Alright, off we go to the island. Alright, we made it towards the island. I'm fully expecting that there will be a lot of just unit scan procs, because the island is full of dangerous stuff. Let's start to make our way in from here.
I'm out of range. Can't do that. Not enough energy. I don't have enough energy.
Good, we're gotta be a bit careful at the beginning here just to get onto the island. But once we're on the island, the rest should kind of fall into place.
Not enough energy. Not enough energy.
These mobs are high level enough to deal quite a bit of damage actually. We just need to clear this area and then the statue. And then we're pretty much done. Surprised just how much damage these Razor Tail guys are dealing. Not bad. Yeah, the guy, every single Naga here has nasty abilities. It's just not a lot of fun. Good. So that's the treasure done. Now there is still Carnitol's shipwreck, where some of the enemies here have a potential drop, a rare drop. So we will need to clear most of the island, but let's do the statue first. And then we can just fish for that one drop. I personally like the island from an XP perspective because you never need to run far, and I think it is even forced respawn, so you can't fully clear the island. But for melee, It's a nasty combination.
That ability not enough energy. I don't have enough energy. I can't do that yet. Not enough.
They either have toxins, which prevent you from using bandages, or spells, or frost novas, and from time to time a giant moves through. Let's just hope that that is not the case at the moment. No, it's just the Tidewalker. Good. Level 38.
I'm out of range. Not enough energy.
Gotta get him in order to get the Book of the Ancients.
That ability isn't ready.
That we will need to trade in with the wizard over here, Azur Almorn.
That ability isn't ready.
There it is. We're good. And now it's just a matter of getting that satchel.
It's too far away.
I will do that off stream though, because it's grinding through the mobs. That is what it is. Alright, so after a pretty sizable grind, I came to the conclusion, F that quest. I killed, and I'm not exaggerating, I stopped counting at 50, at least 70 of the Tide Hunters and Witches, and maybe the same amount of normal Nagas, so definitely 120 plus Nagas that we killed overall. And that satchel is just not dropping, man. Yes, these guys are in the water, but the best location indeed is over there. And I just farmed it. No luck. Anyway, we're disbanding the quest. Wasted some time there, and let's move on. Guide agrees with me after I told the guide that we are not continuing. And now it's time to trade in the Book of the Ancients. I mean, look at that. I'm at 41% in level. I really quickly killed everything there. I bet you if I look up the drop rate, it's less than 1%, but that is also because not everybody is on the quest. I would actually be curious to see what the quest drop rate is, and that kind of brings me to a design concept in World of Warcraft. Just the quest drops, specifically the super rare ones, which in my perspective needs reworking. If you have a rare drop, there's no problem with that, but after killing 50 mobs, there must be some sort of a counter in the background, essentially indicating that at point X, Y, and Z,
For the Alliance.
you're just getting the drop. Gosh, I have ridiculously bad bracers.
That ability isn't ready yet.
Those were slightly better. Anyways, guide wants us to trade in the south. Okay, we can do that. Then wants us to go over here and do the sex of meat. I can tell you that's not going to happen. That's a really bad quest, and I just don't want to do it.
I can't do that.
I don't think I really can't understand why the guide wants us to do like all of that back and forth. At some point it wants us to take the H Kodos and also do the bone collector, but we already done that.
That ability isn't ready yet. Not ready yet.
And it says we now need to complete at step 68. We now should be completing the reagent run, because the guide, I suppose, is almost at its end. Yeah, it then says fly back to Tanaris and basically trade in everything. Okay,
That
cool,
ability isn't
no
ready.
problemo. We're going to play it a little bit different. I'm not that much of a fan of the Kolgar quest line, or the Centaur quest line in general. Like getting those sacks of meat, I don't know if we really want to do that. It's a lot of walking for 1300 XP. I don't know why the guide is suggesting that. Maybe it is because you get 3000 XP for Ngeko and it really wants you to do that.
Not ready yet.
But after the grind that we just had,
That ability
I am telling you, we are far ahead
not ready yet.
of the XP curve, so we can just let that thing go. Alright, fast forward until trade-in, and then we're actually doing what I wanted to do, down to the Scarlet Path and the Ghost-O-Matic. Alright, we finally made it. We are coming to the great climax of Desolace. Let's buff ourselves.
I can't do that yet.
So that's the most dangerous part of the entire zone.
Ability isn't ready yet.
I just want to get through here. Okay, we need to kill 30 Undead Revenger.
It's too far away. I need to
And
get
these
closer.
guys are nasty for casters, but they can also be quite nasty for us.
Not ready.
So we don't want to underestimate them. You can see all of the enemies here are kind of around level 38, 39, 40.
Not enough energy. Not ready. I can't do that yet. I don't have enough.
Good. Let's see how hard they hit.
I'm out of
I do have one ability, kick, which isn't really doing a whole lot for us.
not enough energy. I don't have enough.
But the problem is
Not enough energy.
they are fast, they typically hit hard, and they are a lot. It's not even the worst. We have a second quest where we will need to summon quite a few ghosts actually and fight them. And they have a physical damage debuff.
That ability isn't ready.
Okay, it's not that bad. I just need to make sure that my consumables are still okay-ish. Might consume stat food for that.
I need to get closer. I can't do that. Not ready. I can't do that.
Good. This directly opens as a follow-up the quest line that I've been talking about for Scarlet Monastery, and I've also checked the quest lines for Razorfang Downs. We need to be level 39 in order to pick up the quest for the end boss, the Lich. that gives us the second sword. So with being halfway into 38, that's a perfect timing. We just do those quests now, finish them, then do Scarlet Monastery, and then we will be high enough level in order to pick up the quest for RFD. I noticed as a rogue, these guys are substantially easier compared to my caster experience, because their only ability just doesn't really do much. The only thing that I say is still scary is the damage output. So we might slow down the kill speed a tiny bit, but go in with cheap shots. Alright, one last thing before we're fast forwarding. There are necromancers around. Just wanted to showcase one. Yep, up there. They're typically level 40, and they can summon more of these Revengers. So it's quite scary. If they add, they themselves deal quite a bit of damage with Shadow Bolts, but they can essentially also summon more skeletons. By the way, I think the whole going in with Sheep Shirt here is not a bad idea. I'm taking way less damage that way. And with needing to kill 30 of these guys, I am a bit concerned that my bandages and my food might go down before I can kill all of them. Good. Second quest, by the way, is here. We're going in with double instant poison because no one here is running away. So second quest is right here, which we're going to do in a second. You will need to kill one wandering necromancer. It's always a patrol. And then we can start the quest. I will eat up for that necro. And let's see if the summoning and the Shadow Bolt share the same cooldown. Oh, I can't interrupt the summoning. Okay, that is good to know. That makes the summoning even worse.
I can't do that. Not ready yet. I can't do that yet. I don't know.
Good. I'm trying to free up the space here so that we can fight. Because now we're going to do ghost to round up the plasma. Cool. Time to use dead food. We're nicely buffed. Good. And the trick here with these centaurs is, or specters, they are... the curse goes through. I kicked it, but the curse still went through. 15% increased damage. I hate it. So the trick with these guys is just attack them whilst they are still neutral. It makes it so much easier instead of basically running into 4 of them, which by the way is a bit suicidal. Unfortunately, you can't always control the spawns super well.
It's too far away.
As long as they are not turned, they're not social with the others. And once they stay in a group, it's really difficult. That 15-minute curse isn't really helping either.
I need to get closer.
Alright, we need 8 of those. And by now, I think you've seen how we're rolling. We're just taking the specters before they turn.
That ability isn't ready.
Unfortunately, the specters themselves are strong.
Not enough energy. I don't have enough energy. That ability isn't ready. I can't do that.
So we will need to drink and eat in between. Alright, fast forward until we're done with that stuff. Alright, we're done with the Ghost-O-Mat, and we're almost done
It's too far away.
with down to the Scarlet Path as well. 2 more kills. I just fast forwarded a lot of time. Man, I didn't realize just how grindy Desolace could be. Might have just been me being tainted by that one super long Naga grinding quest. But we killed quite a few enemies here. Luckily our kill speed was still okay. I wish we would have had a little bit faster kill speed, but for that we need better weapons. And this was now essentially the final straw. With the quests here, down the Scarlet Path, I've opened up Scarlet Monastery, and I will not rest until we have had a chance to do a full group. That'll be basically the next to do, simply because the sword is such a big upgrade. The sword from RFD does have 30 DPS and almost 100 maximum damage. We do have 60 maximum damage and 22 DPS. So it's quite literally 150% of the DPS of our current weapon. And we're not dealing bad damage, don't get me wrong. We're actually doing reasonably fine for ourselves. I can only imagine the power spike must feel surreal. Alright, we are going to sprint over, Ghostoplasm, trade in, and once that is done, Hearthstone, and move our selves back. We need to go to South Shore, because that's where the Scarlet Path or Scarlet Monastery questline happens, and then we're just gonna go get a Scarlet Monastery group. I think this is the perfect time to say goodbye for today's episode. I'll trade in the background, do all of the logistics, and next up we're going to hopefully find ourselves in Scarlet Monastery. Let's go.